Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 43 of my Billions and Billions challenge. In today's episode, I will be creating the eutectic NaK alloy from the mod NuclearCraft to be used as a coolant in the molten salt fission reactors. So let's get started. First off, let's take a look at the recipe real fast. It is actually kind of a complicated process to make this stuff. But it's actually not nearly as complicated as the system I set up last episode. It actually looks like it's just about as complicated, but it's actually probably easier. And I'm just going backwards through one part of the recipe. In fact, both parts of the recipe are kind of made in the same process. So I didn't actually go backwards in the right way there. Chemical reactor. So there's a lot of machines that goes into actually making this stuff. But the base part for one of the components is the crushed carbide. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And that actually comes from a rock crusher from diorite. So I do have a bunch of this stuff, as well as the sodium eventually comes from this stuff over here. And I'm not even going to try to say it. But essentially, I'm going to be setting up two parallel processes. One using this crushed williamite or whatever, or however you pronounce that anyways. And then I think over here somewhere I have it's over here somewhere, the crushed carbide. Okay, so that is cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up some item conduit to extract this stuff out. And so let's go ahead and run some item conduit above the ceiling here. And I think I need this out. So let's go ahead and set this to be extract on the, let's just go ahead and make it the green channel, because I don't think I'm going to be connecting a lot of stuff up to this same item duct here. And we can go ahead and make this on, it's already on. So let's go ahead and just run this kind of straight over along the ceiling here. I don't think there's going to be any conflict. I did not mean to place that quite there. Let's get rid of that before I forget to do that. And then let's continue running this over. So that's cool. And actually, you know what? I am going to set them to different colors. So this one can be, let's say blue, and the other one's going to be green. And I have brown. Oh, I have green coming into here. So I probably shouldn't have this other one be green either. I should probably have this be a different color. So it can't be green, brown, or blue. So let's do purple. And that is fantastic. So let's find out, or let's settle on a location for these machines. And I think one row can be here and the other row can be here. Like I think I mentioned just a little bit ago, these are actually parallel processes. So the sodium and the potassium are made in the exact same process, just from different starting materials. So let's dig out a little trench here, and I'm not sure how big of a trench I actually need this to be. I feel like this is actually going to be longer than it needs to be, but I'm not 100% sure. So I need to get some of the ender energy conduit here run over so that I have power, and I should be able to just run this from over here. So let's go ahead and grab that and run this energy conduit. And then we can punch a hole right down here and do that. And I forgot to get rid of that block, but that's okay. So let's run this over like this and like this. So let me take a look here. I have two of each of these machines. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's call it 7 machines for each process. It might only be 6, to be honest. So let's go ahead and let's actually work backwards. So the last thing we're going to be using is the salt mixer, and that is a singular machine. So I think what we're going to do is I'm actually going to put the salt mixer, I think, right here. And I hope I don't regret that decision. So this is going to be the end of the process, and this will actually mix up the eutectic NaK alloy. Now, the thing is, we actually do need to do something with this eutectic NaK alloy, and that is going to be just simply mixing it with the different types of coolers that NuclearCraft provides. These are the same materials, just in liquid form, that the solid coolers are. So we have redstone, quartz, gold, energized glowstone, lapis, etc., etc. But that's a really simple process that we can do after the fact. Right now I'm just going to focus on actually making this eutectic NaK alloy, and that would be sodium or sodium potassium or potassium sodium alloy. It's sodium potassium. That's the order it's in. So anyways, let's so the last thing is the salt mixer. So let's look through the sodium here. So to get the sodium, we need an electrolyzer. So we need an electrolyzer. So let's go ahead and set those down. And let's go ahead and put these here and here. And then from the electrolyzer, we will need a melter. So let's go ahead and throw down melters. And I already have a bad feeling that I actually need more melters than I have. But if that's the case, I can go back and get more. But anyways, so we have the salt mixer, we have the electrolyzer, we have the melter. And then to get this, we need the crystallizer. So that would be the next process here. Okay, so let's keep going backwards here. And like I said, these are parallel processes, so it doesn't matter that I chose potassium this time around. So we have the crystallizer, and then we need the chemical reactors. So for the chemical reactors, one of the inputs are going to be water here, and the other one will be a material. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have a water source block right here. And let's go ahead and replace that torch right there. And the chemical reactors will be here and here. And hopefully the chemical reactors are smart enough not to accept water into both tanks. And I think that they are, to be honest. So after the chemical reactor, we are going to need... sorry, I have to go back through this. I don't have this memorized here. I don't know why I chose that. The chemical reactor, and then we need fluid enrichers. Yes, fluid enrichers. And do those need water as well? I already forgot. Chemical reactor, fluid enricher. Yes, they need water as well. So let's go ahead and put the infinite water source block. And in the future, I might upgrade these infinite source blocks. They are the lowest tier of the water source blocks. But I kind of think that they'll do okay. So maybe that might be a little underwhelming there because this one barely has any water in it. But anyways, let's continue. So after that, let's go backwards through the recipes again. We have the manufactory. Okay, cool. So the manufactory is actually, I believe, the starting process here. So yes. So let's go ahead and put down the manufactories. And so what we're going to do is we are going to insert our different materials into each one. So this one can be insert on blue. And then this one can be insert on, I think it's purple. Is it purple? Yeah, it's purple. So this will be insert on purple. And then all we have to do is connect these up. So it does look like I may have an extra slot here that I'm not going to use, but that's okay. It just means my process isn't necessarily centered. But I'm not going to be too worried about that. But anyways, so let's see this. So we have the main factory and it is working. Let's go ahead and speed these machines up. I do have the upgrades to do that, some speed upgrades and energy upgrades. So we might as well use them. Okay, so I'm going to need some more item conduits and some more, and some of the fluid conduit, I believe. So we can have this, let's say, extract on Cyan, and then this can be insert on Cyan. And then this over here, I'm probably going to run out of colors pretty soon. This can be extract on light gray, and this will be insert on light gray. So these should be kicking off. So we have the sodium fluoride over here, or yes, sodium fluoride over here, and then the potassium fluoride over here. So let's go ahead and speed these machines up. Now, so we can see the next process here. So we're getting some sodium fluoride solution. So we're going to need some fluid conduit. So we can just lay this out here and here. So for the fluid conduit, we can do extract on green, and it can be always on. This can be insert on green. And over here, we can actually use the same two colors because these conduits will not be touching. Unless I screwed up and place a conduit right here, which I did. So let's go ahead and try this again. So this will be extract on green always on, and this will be insert green always on. So let's see here. So we have the potassium fluoride over here, and then we have the sodium fluoride over here. And let's go ahead and speed these machines up as well. I know that's probably getting a little redundant, but whoops, clicked on the right thing there. Okay, so the secondary byproducts, I actually don't know that I have anything to deal with them just right now. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to worry about those. I will send them to a trash can in the future, but I do need the sodium hydroxide solution and the potassium hydroxide. One thing I might be able to do is I actually keep hydrofluoric acid in this tank here. It's actually empty at the moment because I actually use the hydrofluoric acid. If I grab some fluid filters, I can actually export the hydrofluoric acid to this over here. So I can actually use that. But for right now, let's just concentrate on the sodium hydroxide and the potassium hydroxide. So let's go ahead and extract this on the brown channel, and then this can be insert on the brown channel. So there we have sodium hydroxide, and let's go ahead and speed this up. And these machines seem to take a little while, but that's okay. So this will be extract on brown, always on. This will be insert on brown, always on. And there we go. So we should speed this up while we're here. Okay, so we're getting some potassium hydroxide and some sodium hydroxide down here. So because there's no item conduit here, we can reset our colors here, and we can use green again. So let's have this extract on green, and this can be insert on green. So here's the melter, and the melter will obviously melt this down. Let's go ahead and set up the potassium one. And I keep forgetting to hit shift over here, so this will be, there we go. Okay, so cool. This is a liquid. Because we do have liquid conduit here, we will have to use different colors yet again. So we had brown. This will need to be, let's not do that. Let's go ahead and do blue, extract, and then this can be insert on blue. Okay, are we getting anything? Did I do everything correctly? No, because I did not do that. Okay, so this needs to be extract on the fluid conduit, not the item conduit. And this, wait, why is that not? It's because I didn't turn it on. Okay, so cool. That seems to be working. Let's go ahead and speed it up once again. And let's give it some energy upgrades as well. Okay, so this will be blue. Extract always on, and this will be blue, insert. There we go, and let's speed this last machine up as well. I believe that the crystallizers might be the slowest part of this process. Nope, that doesn't seem to be the case. So what is the problem here? So the fluid enricher here is not doing anything. It's because I don't have enough water. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to run back to my main base and grab some stuff, including better water source blocks and probably some fluid filters as well. And once I have all that stuff, I will be right back. Okay, so I grabbed some better water source blocks, and these are the top tier water source blocks, so I should have enough water. And let's go ahead and replace these two with much, much better water source blocks. So if we take a look here, everything should be full of water. So that's fantastic. So it looks like the next thing I need to do is I need to deal with the hydrofluoric acid that is the byproduct of the chemical reaction process here. And for that, I'm going to use a black hole tank here. And let's go ahead and set up this black hole tank to be, let's actually put it over here. And I'm going to put it right here, which is kind of a weird spot for it. But what I want to do is I want to have my interfluid conduit here. And I actually want to, so the hydrofluoric acid is here. What I should do, let me double check everything. So actually, I don't want to cross this line with this line, these fluid conduits, because I don't have them filtered or anything. So I'm actually going to move this. And let's actually put this, let's say right above this square right here. And so what we're going to do with the ender fluid conduit here is we're going to run it up like this. And this is going to be, and that's not what I wanted. I did not want that. So let's go ahead and throw in a filter here, and let's set it to hydrofluoric acid. So hydrofluoric acid, and then what I need to do is I need to refresh this tank, and you can do that very simply by just throwing in a crafting pattern here, and should come out empty. Let's see here. So I probably don't have it set to the right color. It needs to be on brown, it looks like. So there we go. And let's go ahead and do the same thing over here. This needs to be in on brown. Let's go ahead and set this filter. I probably should have done these filters together because you can actually do that. I can by simply having the filters, a stack of filters in your slot here, and then shift right clicking. It'll open up the filter GUI. Okay, so we have the hydrofluoric acid coming into here, and I actually want to ship it to right here. And for that, what I can do is I can do something like this. I know this isn't going to look super great, but that's okay. It doesn't need to look super great. And I'm actually going to have this be insert on, let's do purple. And then we can have this extract on purple. Maybe, yes. I don't think I have purple over here. I don't, so that's cool. So the hydrofluoric acid should come over here if I have this set up correctly. It kind of looks like I do. And this is going down, so cool. The last thing that I didn't actually do is I didn't actually need to sort out some of this stuff as well. I totally forgot about the oxygen and the water here, because I will need to do something with that. So I need to carry the molten sodium over to the salt mixer, and as well as the molten potassium. For that, I'm going to need to grab some fluid filters and a fluid trash can. So I'm going to go back to my main base again, and once I have the stuff that I need, I will be right back. So I really should have everything that I need this time around. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up some ender fluid conduit here, and let's go ahead and place it in this block space right here. So what I need to do is I'm actually going to filter on the insert side. So let's throw in a filter here, and this is going to be the molten sodium. So I need to whitelist sodium here. So let's look that up. Molten sodium, there we go. It should come into here. And let's go ahead and set this to be extract on green, and this can be insert on green. So we should have molten sodium over here, and that's fantastic. So let's go ahead and set up the fluid conduit over here. So this will be kind of the same way. This will be the molten potassium. So let's go ahead and set that item filter up. So molten potassium is going to be whitelisted, and we can extract always on. So the potassium should flow into here. So we have the molten sodium and the molten potassium. They are mixing. Let's see here. And so we should have some eutectic NaK alloy, which is fantastic. What we're going to do with this is we're just simply going to store it in a black hole tank for right now. In the future, I will be using some more salt mixers to actually make some of the coolant that I will be using in a reactor. But basically, this is the majority of the process right here. Let's go ahead and set that up to be extract always on. So there we go. We have just over a bucket of this stuff now. So now what I need to do is I need to set up a system to get rid of the water and the oxygen, and that's going to be rather simple. So what we're going to do is we have trash cans for fluids, and let's go ahead and put these right here. And for the trash cans, I'm going to set this up to be insert. Let's go ahead and hit a filter. This will be the potassium. So, and we are going to blacklist the potassium this time around. And let's go ahead and turn that off. Not that there's anything to extract from a trash can, but you know, whatever. So I do have these machines sped up. The electrolyzers are just kind of slow, to be honest. And then we just need to do the same process with this over here. So this will be the sodium. So I need to blacklist sodium over here. There we go. So everything should be set up, and we should have everything ready to go. Let's go through this side and make sure that everything is functioning as intended. So I'm guessing that the electrolyzer is the slow thing here. So let's go ahead and speed up the electrolyzers since I do have some extra upgrades here. And then I can just let this run for a while. So what we're going to do with this eutectic NAK alloy is eventually we are going to mix it with other things. And I don't think I'm going to go ahead and do this this episode because it's a really easy process. So all you have to do is take the eutectic alloy here and mix it with destabilized redstone, molten quartz, gold, energized glowstone, whatever. But all of this stuff is really easy. You just need a melter. For example, the destabilized redstone, a melter, and some redstone, and you have the destabilized redstone. You just throw that in a salt mixer with the eutectic NAK alloy, and then you have the actual coolant you're going to be using in your molten salt reactor. So I think this is a good wrapping up point for today's episode. Hopefully you were able to follow along. I know the process is just a little bit complicated here, but it's actually not too bad because the process is pretty much parallel. It's just two of the same process, just with different starting points here. And eventually you'll get this eutectic NAK alloy, which is really cool and will help me be able to build a functioning fission, molten salt fission reactor in the next episode. So anyways, if you enjoyed today's episode, definitely feel free to drop a like down below. And if you enjoy watching automation type stuff in modern Minecraft, definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.